if you can't stop using it. Now listen to me, just listen. You don't get to talk. So it's like saying to somebody who gets a drunk driving, you're not allowed to use alcohol. And they're like, not a problem. I don't have a problem. But then they keep drinking because they can't stop. If you can't stop using, you've got a problem. Do you understand that, Mr. Benavides? All right. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Eduardo Benavides. File number 24-21986FH. I do have a letter from Darren Coast dated November 12. And Mr. Coast, would you like to, I think you and I spoke a little bit yesterday, but go ahead, Mr. Coast. Do you want to give us an update on Mr. Benavides?
Sure, Judge. Last time he was before you, actually pled guilty on the contempt of court for testing positive for one of the drug screens. He did serve one night in jail. You released him on a PR with the understanding that he was going to contact CMH for a substance abuse screening. He did do that. However, no services were rendered or recommended because he indicated he was not using cocaine and he did not have a problem with cocaine. Since that assessment, he did do 2 more swabs. And both of those swabs were sent to forensic fluids, and both of them were positive for cocaine.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Coast. We're on Miss Holly. We're on Benavides right now. All right.
Thank you.
All right. So, Miss, I have, trying to remember, your P number is older. I have Alexander Bayonetto appearing on behalf of the people and Katerina Dumont appearing on behalf of Mr. Benavides. So how do we wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, we were going to ask for another pretrial date. We did get an offer. I know Mr. Daly was able to speak with Mr. Benavides, but minimally. It's as charged, but no subs. So we would like the ability to run guidelines to see what those would come back at. Also, we never received any notification of any bond violation or the results of those forensic fluid tests. So we would like the opportunity to see those and review those with our client.
Okay, so Mr. Coast, would you be able to email those test results to Ms. Dumont or Mr. Daly?
I will, Judge.
Okay, all right, and Mr. Bayonetto?
Your Honor, given the multiple positive tests, people would ask that bond be revoked at this point. Mr. Benavides, I believe, now has 3 positive cocaine tests during the pendency of this case. Given the nature of the case, I think a bond revocation at this point would be appropriate. We can revisit that maybe potentially at the next pretrial, but then hopefully Mr. Dumont, Mr. Daly, and myself some progress on seeing what we can resolve this case.
Your Honor, we'd ask that bond not be revoked until we can see the results of those tests, see them for ourselves, and then maybe have a hearing on that if he's disputing the results of that.
Mr. Mudd, I'll actually make copies of these results and I'll run them in the courtroom real quick.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Benavides, what I will say to you is that you have, let me see here. So you are charged now with possession less than 25 grams of cocaine. You have a 4th offense notice. So if you were to be convicted or plead guilty, or if you were to be convicted of this case, you would be looking at a maximum sentence of up to 15 years in prison. Do you understand that? Okay, scoot over by Ms. Dumont. Scoot over by her so I can hear you. Mr. Benavides, when you're charged with cocaine and you're put on bond and you're not to use cocaine, you can't then tell me you don't have a problem if you can't stop using it. Now listen to me, just listen. You don't get to talk. So it's like saying to somebody who gets a drunk driving, you're not allowed to use alcohol. And they're like, not a problem. I don't have a problem. But then they keep drinking because they can't stop. If you can't stop using cocaine, you've got a problem. Do you understand that, Mr. Benavides? And so I also know you have some health issues. So I'm gonna give you one more chance, but I'm gonna change your bond and require some other things of you, okay? So I'm gonna require you continue to test with, Mr. Coast. Mr. Coast, I know, so you went to CMH, you told them you didn't use it and that you don't have a problem with it. So you lied because you don't want to mess with this. You don't want to be bothered with this. But that's not helping you either, right? You have a family that loves you, people that show up and support you, but you also have a problem. And you need to face that problem or you're going to end up in jail. And I don't think your family wants that. I don't think you want that. So, Mr. Coast, are there any, I'm looking at your Zoom. Mr. Coast, are there any, okay, so what can we do in terms of, you're not employed, right? Is it 90 and 90? Is there?
We're not picking them
The
up.
judge, as far as
We're not
substance
picking-
abuse is
okay.
concerned, as far as counseling, funding is available, but he basically has got to admit that he is using, that he doesn't have a problem, or CMH will not approve services. There are NA meetings that he can attend, AA.
Or
So I
NA,
can get a schedule on that this morning too.
Okay, so, I'm gonna require that you attend NA meetings. And I'm gonna require that you get reassessed and you be honest with them about the fact that you do use it. Because you need to face this, all right? All right, and, the record should reflect, he nodded his head yes. So I'm gonna refer him for another assessment and I'm gonna order 90 and 90. Is there 90 meetings available? You live, let me see. You live here in the city, right? Clinton. So I'm gonna order at least 2 meetings a week. Because he's gonna have to get transportation for those. So I'm not gonna do every day. I'm gonna do 2 meetings a week. Order a new assessment through CMH and then outpatient treatment. And then within 7 days, I want you to be testing clear. And if you're not, I will lock you up to stop you. Do you understand? So I want you to get help. And you obviously need help, whether you want it or not. So you have a choice.
Because I haven't been using, so it's like, why is it every test that I am taking, I'm testing positive for that possession if I haven't even used it? It's like,
Are you,
it's got-
okay, hold on. Are you on any medications?
No.
Then,
He's been sick. When the day we went and tested him, he was sick for a whole week and then he dropped and he said he was clean that day he tested him.
all right.
And he's like, I understand.
Can we test him today, Mr. Coast?
We can do a urine screen today, Judge, to get immediate results.
Because I remember that day he said he was
Okay,
good.
will you do a urine screen today?
I don't have the money right now.
It's free, it's here.
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand that every test that I'm taking.
Okay, so, Mr. Coast, we're gonna have you tested today at my expense, okay? All right. We'll take a recess for you to do that. All right,
Let me try in the hallway.